Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. We're just checking my bases out this morning. I am playing the game Meet Your Maker, and I haven't played the game for about 8-9 hours. I put some bases active before I had gone away from my computer, and I'm just checking on them for the first time this morning. I got myself a cup of coffee. I'm gonna check out the messiness of what's going on in my bases. Got some level up notifications there. This seems to be normal for me when I get up the next day, that I get a couple level bonuses there. And I'm just gonna push this button here before we get into checking on the bases. All right. So let's take a look at what's going on. All right. Just go into the build. I go to the command module here. Go to the build interface. It looks like I'm down to two places that are still active, and then I have two that went inactive overnight. So let's look at the bird cage here. So overnight, the bird cage had 9 more raid attempts, and it's got 222 raiders killed during those attempts, almost pushing my number to 4,000 kills with a 13 kill ratio. Let me just move my ugly mug here over to the screen here so that you can see what I'm talking about here. And I've got alkalades here. I keep on getting good ones. +5. I've got 5 more brutals, 2 more funds, autistic, ingenious. So I'm doing very well. Now, one of the things they added, which wasn't in the beta, let's just go into the bird cage here, just to look at it as we wait. I just got up. Okay, so one of the things that one of my subscribers said to me was, Tarkus, they added a feature now that if you just go in and go out of the base, everything will get cleaned up automatically, so you don't have to go in and sweep it up. I've noticed, I don't know if it's because of timing that somebody was in my base, but I've noticed that I've done this, and then I've gone back in again, and this item's still on the ground. So I don't know if there was when I was cleaning it up or went into the build interface to do the auto clean, that somebody was in the base dying, and maybe that was what the overlap is. But more or less, 99% of the time, if I just leave the outpost here, it will take whatever items that had fallen in that base and auto populate the. So now if I go back into the bird cage, we shouldn't see items on the ground unless somebody died in the 5 minutes that, or the couple minutes that I see the items aren't here now. So they got auto collected, but the gravestones are still here. They still give you some good indication of what's going on with your base, where people are dying. Oh no, there's an object right there. See, like I said, it doesn't. I don't know if it gets it all. So it might require, or the person, there's somebody died recently in here. So, it seems to do a good job with the auto cleanup when you do the in and out kind of thing, but there's still, there's still objects to, you can see them, that need to be cleaned. Again, that could be a timing thing on when during the phase that I was in there to do the auto clean. So I mean, it is what it is. So I want to get this base back into the rotation. So we've got to. This is one of my favorite bases. So we've got to prestige it. So hit the hit the escape. Go up to prestige. And say for 925, I want to kick this thing up to the next level. So this puts me at 9, which is one closer to having to close her down permanently. All right, so it gives me 250 more capacity. You'll find that I think my monster capacity is at its max. So if you go to the monster tab and you go to the bottom here, it tells you how many guards that you get. 20 out of 20 I've used up. I have not used up all my traps yet, and I just got 200, two extra 2 capacity, so I might as well add a couple more traps in here. It's kind of tight in the bird cage as it is. I mean, it was a very tight base to begin with, so I am kind of running out of spaces to add more traps that would be effective. I guess what I could do is, I know you got to watch out for traps that destroy other traps, like this trap here. When it activates and throws out the bombs, those bombs will destroy any traps that are in this area. But what I can do is I could put a trap here, because I don't think I'll put this trap here. I don't think. Oh no, there's a trap. Oh, there's a trap on the ground. Okay, so there's a trap on the ground, and there's a trap on the wall. Okay, because you can't double dip on the traps. You can't overlap the traps. So okay, so this place is tight. Maybe my next. Well, I can't put a trap there because there's a trap on the ground. I should have known that. The trap on the ground, trap on the ground. Oh, and then I also have another one there. Now, one of my subscribers had asked me, and I had done a full video on it, on distances and whatnot. And in the video, it was like a 20-minute video. It didn't make any sense after somebody already told me that I didn't realize that you can do a range preview on the traps, but you got to click on the traps. I just didn't think Y was working. But if you face the trap and click Y, it tells you what the trap distance is. Now, I had done a whole video for one of my YouTube subscribers because I said, "Oh, Tarkus, can you show us, And I did the whole thing, and then a YouTube subscriber said, "Tarkus, just walk up to the trap and hit Y, and it's going to tell you those things." And it's like, oh my God, how noob am I? I mean, I'm definitely noob. So it's Y, and then you click up the trap. So basically, it shows you the preview in what that trap, its trigger distance is. And that's under Y. So if I hover on that trap and hit Y, you'll see that trap will go off if they get into that zone. But what's nice is I'm hoping that they're going to get into it when they're jumping up to take care of that. Just like this one, this trap up there. There's a trap up there. It's one of those mine. See, normally you'd say, well, it's way up there. It's off the floor. Well, how does that get triggered? Let me undo this one here. And how it gets triggered is people jump to the ceiling, and that's what triggers it. So you don't always have to put them in the pathway. You can have them up high, and that one fires quite often. When people are jumping around this place, they'll trigger that trap. All right, so we've got to add 2 more capacity, or we've got at least, we added to capacity. We've got 200 to play with. It's just that I don't know what else more I could put in here, as it is, it's overwhelmingly hard map. And I know I've got the capacity to add here, but geez, criminy. Maybe I put something in the ceiling. Maybe that's it. I put something in the ceiling. Maybe a bolt trap in the ceiling. Maybe right here. Let me see if I can get away with that. That's just, or the bolt shot. So let's go to bolt shot and then hit Y, and that actually works. Look at. But the problem with that is it would destroy this trap when it goes off. So if it goes off, it will destroy this trap. So that might not be where I want to put that. So I've got to put that ceiling back in. Actually, let's put a cage there. Let's get up there and do it. Yeah, this is supposed to be a quick video to just show you the mopping up here. I'm just going to activate it for now. I even though I've got the added, it's activated. It's got the added capacity. I'm going to have to think about it because the base is somewhat small as it is, and it is kind of overwhelming. It is brutal as it is. So maybe I don't need to add that extra 200. I'll think about it a little bit. All right, so we just reactivated this one. Now the falls there. This is a good map too. I really enjoy this map. Last night it only had 8 raid attempts, but it took out 125 deaths. Its kill ratio is the 13 mark, which I think is acceptable. I think that's a good kill ratio. Somebody told me they had like a 40 kill ratio in their base. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I don't know how many attempts they had. Maybe it was like 2 attempts and the person was just really wanting to get it done. The accolades to this one's pretty good too. But again, just jumping into the base and jumping out should just allow us to clean the majority of it. In this base, I'm just running up here real quick. This base is very effective here in the doorway. This hallway is quite effective. I've got a lot of stuff going on in this hallway on this base. And then once you get into this room here, it can get tricky, but it's doable. I've watched many people easily navigate this room. And then this room over here becomes troublesome to them. This is a really hard room. Because it's a little similar to the other map that we just left. Kind of the same kind of layout, but it's kind of different in a way. So we'll just leave this. It doesn't have to be reactivated because it was already activated. It's got plenty of time left on its cleanup, or it's got time left. It's got plenty of left on its node. Okay. Yeah, Oakledge Falls. Yeah, it's got at least halfway still, 2,500. This one is my new base. This is my latest and greatest base. It gets little to no activity. And I'm hearing people tell me, Tarkus, all the time, I get no activity in my bases. I put a base up. I can't even prestige it. I get no activity in my base. I got to raid. I prestige it. I got to go earn the tokens to get back. I get one like last night. I got one attempt, and the person died 8 times. The kill ratio in this one is 16. But it's like, oh my goodness, it's prestige level 3. So I don't know what their formula is to get raiders in the base, but this kind of thing makes me a little nervous. It's day 3 of the game, day 4 of the game, and I'm not seeing a lot of activity in at least that base. Activity in this base and activity in this base, I get a lot of activity in the base. Now, Comstock is my next one here, and I've got to get this one active. But as I've been saying for a few days now, as a core builder, I never can keep them all active at once. I don't get enough tokens. I don't get enough rewards. Even with the amazing amount of deaths, this one's got almost 4,000. This one's got almost 1,000. I'm still not getting enough rewards to continue. So they've reformulated the game where pure builder like myself just has to deal with only having a few bases up and hope that they do well. Because in beta, they it wasn't like this. I had enough rewards coming in, being just a core builder, to keep everything going. And have all 5 bases up, plus buy into more bases. Right now, it's famine. Like for me to bump this up, I need 925 of the tokens. It's these tokens right here that they're skimpy on. Look at all the, I got 31,000 of these, 9,000 of these, and I can't get these to save my life. Even when I'm boosting the advisor. So there's an advisor over here, and what I do is I boost this advisor during prime time. So if you go to the advisor and go to to boost, and then go to boost level 3, and it tells me drop rate and rating in buildings are increased by 30%. It's only good for 42 minutes. I'll just activate it so you can see how it gets activated. So right now, for about an hour, my bases will drop 30% more stuff. I've been really using that boost during primetime hours, and I'm still not getting what I need to keep these things running. So it looks like Tarkus is going to have to try to work with some of these easier bases and go raid so I can get some components. You know, I'm not good at Twitch gaming because of a motorcycle accident I had years ago. I've got some frontal lobe damage, so my Twitch gaming really suffers. Can't really do it. I like base building games. I like easy games where I can sit around and formulate some stuff that I want to do a base, and then that's my effort to the game, is building bases. And I was hoping that this game was not going to force me into raiding. I had a concern about that to keep bases up, but it looks like that's where it's at now, guys. Is for me to have 5 bases up, I'm going to have to go in and do some raiding because I'm just not getting the drops that I need, even with some of these overwhelming numbers that I've got. So I'd love to be able to turn this on, but I can't. It requires 925, and I just can't turn it on. So the other 2 bases, this base here is a base I don't use anymore. It's not giving me enough returns. And my Apollo base, I turned that into my workshop. So let's just go in there real quick, so that you know what I'm talking about, workshop related. This is this base here is just going to be where I test different theories, test different types of traps, see how effective they are, and just do basic theory crafting in here. I'm going to call this my workshop. It was my first base I ever made. And what I did is I cleared it out by hitting the tab. I went to strip outpost with the X, stripped it, and then I built this little testing area, and I call it the workshop. So in the future, I'll be doing some workshop videos on trap placements. But the sad thing I've got is I haven't been able to buy all the traps because, again, I'm not collecting enough of the resources. If you go to the traps and actually go to the traps themselves, I don't own them all. I wanna buy the hollow cube, but the thing is, it costs those yellow tokens. Everything that you want to buy into, like even the incinerator, I don't own that. Anything you buy into is going to cost me those yellow tokens, and I'm comfortably killing enough people. It's just that, it'd be nice to work with other traps, but I just can't afford it because I want to be able to keep my bases running. And again, I think it comes down to me getting in and raiding a few bases, getting some extra coinage, and then being able to buy into the newer traps. Again, when I played beta, that was not the case. Beta, that yellow currency, I had plenty of it. I could do comfortably 5 bases running. I could buy into more bases. I could buy updates. I could buy mods. I could do everything in the game. Something's changed after beta, where they've changed the balancing of what you get when you kill people in your bases, and they're being quite stingy with the yellow token. So let's just go over to the board here and look at what I've got going on here. So I had just this morning, so that must have been when I was checking. No, that was not when I was checking the base. That was prior to checking the base. So the last visitor I had was at 9:17, and it's been an hour. So it's been an entire hour and I don't have any activity on the board for an hour. So this shows you some of my numbers of what happened last night. I think I like how my bases are performing. I can't really complain all that much. There's a 45 person died 45 times and gave up. Well, that's really it, folks. I was just checking my bases again this morning, and I was thinking about how I was going to move my game, move forward, trying to get that yellow token. And I think what I'm going to have to do is go and do some raiding and do some normal bases, see if I can do it, see if I can just try my best, because you're definitely going to get the yellow rewards from doing it. So it just comes down to seeing if I can get my hands to do what I want them to do, and having this work correctly while trying to do it. Well, that's it, folks. That's it for this morning. I hope this video finds you well. It's early morning. I'll do some other videos, some mashup videos later today. But I want to thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkus Zone.